Welcome back, true believers and newcomers alike. Another anniversary is upon us, and it's for what most Spidey fans consider to be the best film outing for the webhead. Spider-Man 2. And just like the first, I too have a story with this one. It's around October, November 2003. We had just returned from Blockbuster and popped the VHS in with the previews on screen.
This is funny. I'm not sure where to begin. Do you love me or not?
Right.
And instantly my attention was captured. I dropped my action figures and probably didn't have my attention waver. Eyes widen. Hairs begin rising. And...
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts.
Spider-Man was back. I couldn't believe my eyes. The story continues. I didn't think it was possible, but there it was before me with a release date. July 2nd, 2004, soon to be changed to June 30th, 2004. A date I wouldn't forget. A school year had come and gone, and the second round of Spider-Mania had began. Toys everywhere. Holographic Spider-Man cards that came with each Lunchable. I remember we took a field trip late in that school year that spring, and that's what I packed for a lunch. There was a girl that also got the same thing and gave me her Spider-Man holographic card, knowing I was a huge fan of the wall crawl. Wait, did I just get Ursula? Moving on. Lego sets were also made, with me attaining a majority of them as presents from relatives and as a present for finishing another year with good grades. But the big one I remember was the one with the $50 price tag. Yeah, that one. I know it's hard to believe that it was only $50 when your average set nowadays is about $40 to $50, but back in my day, things were more affordable. I spent the entire summer trying to get it, and about late July, if I remember right, after scouring the house for loose change, doing chores, and doing manual labor for a week with Father, I finally got it. For the entire month of June, I wanted to go to Burger King, and that's only because of the Spider-Man 2 promotional toys in the kids' meals. This was at a time when McDonald's wasn't the only place providing such scarcities. It got to a point where my mom didn't even ask me anymore, and she went straight there. The TV spots were everywhere the closer the movie came to release, with some being fast-paced and action-driven.
Boys appear exhausted.
I know I'm trying.
Some being dramatic, matching how I viewed the movie at age 8.
No matter what I do,
Do you love me or not?
no matter how hard I try,
I want Spider-Man dead.
it's the ones I love who will always be the ones who pay.
I can't keep thinking about you. I'm getting married.
And in my opinion, the most memorable one.
I believe there's a hero in all of us, even though sometimes we have to give up the thing we want the most.
First we'll see who's behind the mask. The story continues June 30th, rated PG-13.
If those didn't make you want to watch the movie, then I don't know what will. Spider-Man 2 was itching closer and closer as June was about to end. But there was another adaptation that had my attention as much as the movie, and it was a tie-in video game that, much like mini games at the time, was breaking new ground.
This time, there's nowhere he can't go. In Spider-Man 2, the game, you have the freedom to go wherever you want, whenever you want. Use amazing new abilities to hop from blacktop to rooftop and save the city one crime at a time. Spider-Man 2, the game. Rated T for teen.
When I saw that promo, I knew I had to have it, and soon enough, I would. Spider-Man 2 premiered on June 30th, 2004. It was a hot Wednesday afternoon. I know. Yes, a movie premiered in the middle of the week on a Wednesday. You can check your calendars if you don't believe me. I was as perplexed as you. To me, though, it didn't matter what day it came out. I just wanted to see the movie. And I wasn't alone. It was a packed house for just an afternoon showing. It was quite the experience, as much like everyone else, I was wowed and very happy with the end result. Little did I know what an impact the movie left on me and how much it would resonate. but I'll get to that in a second. After watching the movie, my mom took me to Blockbuster to return movies, and I wandered off to check out the games, and there it was, a copy of Spider-Man 2 not yet rented. It came home with me, and it was just like playing the events of Spider-Man 2 with more story and characters. Let's say it's an alternative take of Spider-Man 2 that still gets the message of the movie across in video game format, and admittingly there is a couple things the game did better than the movie itself. The soundtrack is one that I'll be remembering for the rest of my days, and for the next while, thanks to my uncle purchasing the game for me later that same year, it's how I spent a lot of my weekends just swinging around New York, fighting one crime at a time. It's a time I have many fond memories for. Spider-Man 2 wasn't nearly as appreciated at the time as the game was. It took some time for it to marinate in people's minds that it was one of the greatest sequels of all time. I'll cut people a break. It was a movie that came out during a stacked year, just as long as it got its due credit, which it did before the year ended. Nowadays, it's looked back as not just the best Spider-Man movie, but also arguably the best comic book movie ever made. It's definitely in the debate. What Spider-Man 2 means to me is much like other media in 2004, it felt like the creatives were shedding light on adulthood and the struggles of keeping up with responsibilities that come with it, along with some yearning for their childhoods to return. 2004 was an eye-opening year for me, realizing that there's a lot of change ahead and I wasn't ready to face it. Spider-Man 2 does this by presenting Peter with two choices. He can't have both. I like to refer this as something most guys have to deal with, as they can't have it all. It's the Spider-Man 2 arc, as I call it. Peter Parker isn't the only one who goes through an arc, as a majority of the cast do throughout the movie. It's very meticulous how they develop multiple characters in the span of 2 hours, but the creative team made it look effortless. The performances were great too, but the standouts were definitely Rosemary Harris with her more emotional subplot dealing with big changes in her twilight years, and J.K. Simmons, who just steals every scene he's in. I could go on and on about how much of a perfect casting he is, but you've heard it all before. I'm sure he might just be the best comic book movie casting ever made. Sam Raimi once again saved a movie that would have made for a disastrous sequel had he not gotten someone that was on the same page as him for what he wanted to do. With numerous drafts presented, Raimi took elements that he liked from each draft and had Alvin Sargent write the finalized script. And just like that, the movie was saved. Without a dedicated creative team like that, you don't get something as good as this. That day left a mark on me, and as the sun set on June 30th, 2004, I can't think of a more perfect day. And that, true believers and newcomers alike, is my story with what just might be my favorite live-action comic book movie. But before I leave today, I have an announcement. I have a social media account that you might be interested in where I make more comic book content. It's not something I post on every day, it's something I do on the side for fun. So if you're interested, please pay a visit to Vintage Age Comics, and I'll see you there. I'm Lino Mars of the MCA Productions crew, and as always, true believers and newcomers alike.
Excelsior!